Hi, ma'am. Good evening. Good evening,
Good.
ladies and gentlemen. I have on the hot seat a very impressive personality, very eminent poet and author, Mandeep Kaur, who has spent 20 long years in the professional world, in the corporate world, and she is now the vice president of a multinational company, telecom company, which is a great achievement. She is also an author, and she is author of her latest book is Living to Winning, which itself shows that what kind of personality this wonderful lady is. Now, I want to ask you, ma'am, that whenever you talk about the corporate world, you talk about the ruthless ambition, and you talk about all kinds of cutthroat competition. How did this book happen? How did you come to this field of writing? Kindly tell us something about your book, and if you have the book, I'll be very grateful. The viewers will be very happy to have a first look at the book.
Sure.
Yes, Mandeep.
Good evening. So, first of all, let me thank you for a very warm welcome and such a wonderful introduction. And also to the Vibrant Forum for having me. I am kind of finding this hot seat, cool seat concept really interesting. I don't know if I'm really that hot person. I think I'm more of a lukewarm person. Moderation and simplicity is more of my mantra in life. So uh, yeah, so before I reach the book, I think my book is about my life. It's about my career. It is not a very literary fiction or something. It is more of a self-help book, and it is a, you can say it's a motivational book, because but when I wrote, I did not have any of those things in my mind. It was you know I used to write when I was young in school and college. I used to write small poems and short stories at the back of my school text notebooks. But then I got married and started working, and this interest of writing just went away and forgotten. At the back of my mind somewhere, busy having kids and kind of their schools, their homeworks, my work, full-time job. So once they grew up and they reach my son was already preparing for his 10th standard boards. So that is when, like a mother is anxious whether he's actually studying or he's distracted. So I would sneak into his room and sit with him while he was studying late at night, but not having anything to do. So I started writing my own bit. I would take my tab or laptop and start writing. So that was when I started again, and slowly and gradually, wrote some poems, and then somebody guided me. Why don't you start a blog? So then I put them up on the blog, and I started adding my poems to blog. I think that was a good idea, because otherwise you keep losing them. You write somewhere, leave it, or put it in a file, and you forget. So then once I had good 40, 50 poems and a bit of a prose written around them to build context, that is when some friends told me, why don't you publish?
I
So
think
I
it is
went.
a great idea, ma'am, and I'm sure the ageless wisdom which this your book, all self-help books give something positive, something good to the reader. But I suppose the when you are reading a book, the book is also reading you. So a good book is accepted by the readers, and I'm sure the wisdom which you nuggets of wisdom which you have in this book are going to be helpful, extremely helpful to a lot of, especially the managers and I suppose junior and middle level managers. Now,
Yeah, I
kindly
think.
tell me that your
Yeah.
your journey to the vice president chair, yeah, rising up the ladder. It is a well-known fact all over the world. People talk about it. The discrimination against the gender discrimination and workplace politics and balancing the home and the professional job. All these things put together, and a woman boss. Woman boss is a something which there are a lot of misconceptions about it, especially in India. Please tell us how was your journey to this uh, top level? How did you reach this place? What was your experience?
Okay. So I would say, you know, uh, I started a career long time back. Organizations were not yet, at that time, really so ready to have so many of women employees. While there were a lot of
Yes.
women who were joining the corporate world, but not many of them were reaching the senior leadership roles. So because of the
Yes.
challenges, any woman, I mean, it's not with me, I'm sure all the women go through those challenges. uh, they will start working, and then time comes when they get married. When they get married, they have to change the city sometimes, go out from one city to other. And for that they have to quit their job sometimes and look for another. And after that, when they plan their family, that is also when they have to, sometimes they drop out because of that, because the way it was seen in our times was, okay, you worked, ho gaya aap, now now you sit at home and look after your children. You've done your bit, and that's the first priority. Now that's the model we always had in the society, right? And so women have to wear a lot of hats. So she has to be a good professional. She puts a lot of pressure on herself, I think. So you have to be a good mother, you have to be a good family person, daughter-in-law or spouse. At the same time, you have to be a good professional, compete with your male colleagues. So I'm, by having said that, I don't say the journey is easy for men. They have their own set of challenges, because while women at that time still could negotiate and make a choice of you know leaving their career for a while and take it easy and take a sabbatical. But I don't think men have the choice. The society puts a lot of pressure on them, that they have to be, they are known as the ones who earn the living, right? So you don't think of
Yes, certainly, and certain people appreciate that a woman achieving that kind of thing. It calls for a better, more celebration. Because you achieving this kind of woman achieving this position is so important and so inspiring for many other women who are in this world, the corporate
certainly.
world. They also are looking up to people like you.
Absolutely. No, I would say overall the journey has been relentless hard work, and setting tough goals for myself, and then
Okay.
constantly
Yes.
pushing myself out of my comfort zone, going ahead and achieving them, uh, sometimes missing them too, but learning in the process. So a lot of learning. And at the same time, as a woman, you also carry the extra baggage of guilt that, as a mother, are you there for your children
Yes.
while you're having a
Yes.
full-time job? So constantly you carry that. And but in the end, I would say it is overall very rewarding, humbling, and God has been kind.
Great, great. Now, coming to the corporate world scene in India, ma'am, what I have observed, or whatever little I know, is that we hire people here in our organization because of their qualifications and experiences, and not because of their potential and talent. I have not seen any organization, yours may be an exception, where they have talent management systems, proper talent management system, that you attract talent and you are able to retain that kind of talent. Now, and most of the our organization, they lack, agility, discipline, and focus. And that is why many organizations which start with a bang, they ultimately peter down. So, what is your experience about this kind of thing in Indian scene?
Okay. So I would say I'm fortunate to have worked in very, very professional organizations. And I mean, most of the times I was working for multinational organizations who were really evolved for the times, and who had the models to really weigh talent and merit over, you wouldn't say seniority. I haven't heard this term for the longest time in my career. So the things that we talk about is always merit, performance, potential, talent, and there are very scientifically developed models that we have.
Yes.
So as leaders, we are trained on how to evaluate people. You just can't have your whims and fancies and you feel that this guy looks like a good guy. You have to, you are trained how to decipher a good talent, a good potential versus not so great, an average one. So at the same time, we are also, there are annual appraisals, there are feedback sessions with the management. So I think unless you really focus on getting the right kind of people for the right kind of roles, both experience and talent and potential is important. It depends. You're from defense, right? So the kind of people you require in a war situation is different from the peacetime, right? So
Absolutely, absolutely. No
in
problem.
corporate industry, you also go through very warlike situations. You could be on a project stage. You are in a very highly competitive market. Economy may be under stress. So in such times, you have to take the right combination of experience as well as the potential. So the person
Kindly
with the
tell me, ma'am, one thing that I don't know if professional honesty is a very big virtue in most of the companies. I'm not talking about multinational company or your company, but I know that those people who are professionally honest and
yeah,
profoundly involved in their work, actively
yeah.
engaged in their work, they are just about 60% of the people. And every organization has some passengers. Passengers,
Free
who come
riders.
and speak.
We got
Now,
the free
this kind of
riders.
situation, this is professional dishonesty. Now,
Yeah.
do you experience? I mean, generally, I'm not talking about your organization at all, of course. I mean, do you feel that this professional dishonesty is a problem which most of the companies in India face?
There can be in a lot of companies. It starts from the right recruitment. At the time of recruitment, if you have the proper assessment methodologies in place, and the ways to find out the right talent, and you approach the right institutes to take the candidates, it starts from there. So if somewhere you drop the ball and you get somebody who's not really, and there are times you will take people, but later you would realize that they are not really fit for this role, right? So then, of course, there are processes that you have to follow. There are people at times in your team who are who are not really showing the great managerial skills. So
Okay.
there are ways you have to coach them, you have to counsel them, because they will not last for long. You can continue with this kind of a dishonesty for some time. You can fool with people, the system, for some
Yes.
time,
Some of
but beyond some time you will get exposed, right? And in organizations which are very professional, they have a 360-degree kind of a feedback model.
yes.
So
Yes.
I'm getting assessed. It is not only my seniors who are evaluating me, it is my all the stakeholders, including my team members, who evaluate me, that how good a manager I am. So if there is
Mm.
something coming up which is worrying to an organization, it will come out. It gets exposed, and your performance will reflect. If you don't have the right kind of people in your team, you have free riders, you don't know how to get work done, how to put the people into the right roles. Eventually, you will not be able to show the performance you're expected to, right?
You
So
see,
it
ma'am, most of the people in India, at least 88%, we are
yeah,
deeply religious people and we believe in work is worship. Some do
uh,
believe in worship is work, but work is worship. Now, in spite or despite that, there are people who are professionally dishonest. I suppose a small number will always be there in any organization and one has to take care of that.
yeah,
Now,
yeah, yeah,
there are a lot of people, supervisor, junior manager, middle level managers, and even senior managers who must be watching you now. And with your kind of achievement, now, what would be your message for these kind of people who are looking up to you? What will you advise them as a great achiever, as the top rung corporate world achiever? Tell us something about your message to the manager, junior manager.
sure. So in fact, in my book, that what I've written, I think that maybe the young people who are just setting on their flight for the first time and building their career in the middle management level, if they read, they will really know maybe the mistakes I made, they will not make. So they will venture more cautiously and navigate their way much more successfully, because I was very naive from a very middle class family like we are. And for the first time, somebody was working in a corporate. So I had my share of learning, but this can be used by the youngsters who are making their career now. Before that, I would say something very interesting.
Okay, yes.
Normally, as a woman leader, you're tend to told that all the women, in the at workplace, that look at her, she's the role model.
Uh,
So. So once my manager said, when I was addressing on one of the Women's Day, he said, that's a very wrong way to approach that. Why should only women take you as a role model? I think you are a role model to all men and women.
Anybody?
I think
Yes, yes.
I learn a lot from you. So I think that was the right way and perspective, that when you realize that you have an impact. So I just want to leave one message in the end, that we have to constantly remain relevant, right? Awareness is very important. In this career, you will always have to juggle into a lot of things, men and women. You have families, you have persons, you are a father, you are a mother, and then you are a professional. So you have to juggle between a lot of balls. But at the same time, you may drop some ball. But the awareness will help you to know which are the must retain balls, which are the good to do, and which are the ones, if push comes to shove, we can let it be, right? Not just let them drop accidentally. So, and make yourself relevant, always keep training yourself, upskilling yourself, see what is latest coming. Don't just continue with the old laurels and what you learned 20 years back in your degree. There are ways to
Absolutely. You have to unlearn those things. I mean, learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now,
accept.
keeping yourself abreast with the latest in your profession, I suppose it is part of your duty, responsibility, and one must keep abreast with the latest in whatever profession one is.
Absolutely. So I will just recite few lines of a poem that I
Okay,
wrote,
ma'am.
that
Welcome.
change, reinventing is important. So tough shall never hit if you plan change while it is still crest. Break inertia, explore more when you are at your best.
Hmm.
Move on when you get the first signal of beginning of dusk. For there is a new dawn awaiting, and night we walk through must. Choose when you have options, not when you are not left with a choice. Speak when it
Hmm.
matters, not when no one needs your voice. Act when you must, not when it is
Great.
trivial and right. No one but
Beautiful.
you decide when the time is right. Thank you.
Great, great, ma'am. This is absolutely great, great message. See, I thought I'll share with you and with the viewers a message that the old system, the myth that only hard work and sacrifice can get you the best result, I suppose that is gone. You can win without losing. That is not taking care of yourself. You are not being good to others. I mean, I suppose that fixing your mask first before trying to help others is also very important. So love yourself no matter what. You are a very, very important part of the total organization. The family and the people who are looking up to you, they are all, depending upon you in one way or the other. So cashing on social capital which you have built, being good, nice, helpful to people, and keeping in mind that I am better than I think I am. Every manager must understand that there is so much the manager has and
Yeah.
so much can be done. Maybe the potential has not been realized fully because of any number of reasons. But reminding yourself every day that I am better than I think I am every day, that is your confidence in yourself. You may be whatever you are, but knowing that yes, you can achieve and you can do, this has made you so great. As a matter of fact, I mean, people who look up to you, they know that you have put in a lot of hard work, a lot of effort has gone into all the journey. But then it was because of your confidence in yourself, and you continue working and you reach the top. So that
Thank
is what I feel. But that old myth, that you must sacrifice, you must continue doing. As a matter of fact, I keep telling people that I've seen my parents doing this kind of thing, sacrificing and hard work, and then I have done it for my children. Now my children are doing it for their children. But that hard work and sacrifice is not a must to be able to achieve big results. You can win
you.
and get great results even without losing by looking after yourself and putting yourself first. It is not being selfish, to my mind. If you look after yourself and take care of yourself, only then you will be able to take care of others in your organization or your family and all. So I suppose managers must keep this in also in mind that they are very important and they must take care of. Now, something more about your book, ma'am. Now, tell me, I mean, one of the chapters or something. Yes, it is a beautiful title and it conveys a lot. As a living to winning, it conveys a lot. But what are the various aspects which you have covered in this book, ma'am?
I think so. I'll just quickly share because I think we are almost meeting our time limit.
Yes,
So it is
yes, I
about
am getting.
me setting up my goals. And when you say goals, it is not about just work goals. It is about living a holistic life. It is about having your personal goals,
Yes,
your family goals, your spiritual goals, your social goals, and then your work goals. So if you have set goals for yourself in every domain and aspect of your life, and you put them down, when you write them down, that is when you actually realize that you need to really know more about what you really want to achieve in life and put certain measurables to it. So this is the book is all about, and this is how I
Okay.
have tried to share how I
Thank you,
achieved my.
ma'am. Thank you very much. I think we had
Thank
a
you so much,
wonderful
sir, and thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
Okay.
It has been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Thank you
really
so
sorry
much.
that today we have just 15 minutes for each conversation. So
Right.
thank you so much for joining in. And now we have Mr. Vivek Atre and Miss Ritu Kocher with us.